Greg and Yolman, and then you wonderful lurkers who are out there. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us here tonight. First and foremost, as you guys probably see behind me, we're actually printing again with the system that we brought over to the Atlanta Mini Maker Faire. So I want to say a couple of things about that. First of all, thank you very, very much to David Sluter and your team, Gabe and a bunch of the other guys who were a part of the Freeside Atlanta, the guys who are part of Geek Space, Squinet, the guys who are part of the maker spaces that are all around the area, plus the Roblox teams that came by to talk with us. Thank you very much, guys, and for putting on a fantastic show, a very, very well-organized show, and for working with us during this time and with everyone else who was there. It was a huge and fantastic success, so we're looking forward to seeing you guys again next year, and hopefully this time, since these guys are now ready, that we can be part and help you guys out for this coming year with the Atlanta Mini Maker Faire, and hopefully we can remove that mini from that particular part of the Maker Faire and make it an Atlanta Maker Faire. So, anyway, next up I want to say thank you very much to a very young gentleman who was also, if you're watching us, a very young gentleman who was there. He was also at the Sandy Springs Mini Maker Faire here in Atlanta, Georgia. And he came by and started helping us out in the booth. So thank you very much to the young man. The reason why I'm not releasing his name is because legal reasons. Anyway, I also want to say thank you to Steve Pritchard and his wife for coming to our rescue. We had to come to theirs a little bit, but I also gave the link out in the Kickstarter updates so that you guys can see that. They were kind enough to help us out in one small little pinch that we were in. And we helped them out on small pinch when they were in. So, but thank you very much, guys, for helping us out in that regard. And then finally, besides Les Wilhelm, who came by, Jochen Kehoe, if you're on here tonight, and a couple other guys who came by the show, thank you very much for coming by the booth, asking us questions, and even the competition who was there and grilling us questions in front of everybody else. Thank you. Thank you for coming by. And here again, if I was a little harsh, I do apologize. I was just, it just is what it is. When you ask me a question that is sometimes a misnomer, I'm a little intense in person. I do apologize if I was too intense. But whatever you guys do, wish you guys nothing but the best of luck. And let's make sure that everything that we're doing, 3D printer wise or anything else you can be making in the future, is the best of the best for anyone who's out there. So, that being said, we are printing right now, so that you guys know, we printed a lot of the vases this past week. I'm going to go ahead and raise this guy up just a little bit, so you guys can see a little bit in the behind. We printed off a lot of the vases, and we gave a lot of them away at the show because there were all a bunch of little kids who asked and they wanted it, so we gave them away. But this guy printed like a champ the entire time of the show. I think there was like one or two times where I had to, where I had to make sure that I put enough hairspray on there, for one, and number two, I had to wait for the bed to heat up. So, and there were a couple of false starts because the bed wasn't hot enough, and I forgot that once after you're done with a print, the bed goes cold, and the same thing with the actual extruder head as well. So we have that, and there's a safety issue. So it took a little bit longer because it was nice and cold, it was nice and windy, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, but my final thanks is to Davo, and Lord Davo, if you're on, thank you very much, and also to Sable, who came out and helped us out at the show. Without you guys, this wouldn't have been as big a success as it was. We ran out of business cards, we almost ran out of flyers. Of course, then again, we didn't, pass out the flyers, all very much. We kind of held them back toward the very end. And then, man, guys, it was like gangbusters yesterday. This guy was going, and everything was just beautiful. So, alrighty, let's see. Oh, Ian Tills is moving from Australia, guys. Oh, very nice, very nice. So, let's see. Very first question comes from Eagle1J. Who does this printer belong to?
This one's Greg.
This one's Greg's. So, Toladeb, if you're on, which, yeah, you are on. Sorry about that. Yeah. And this guy printed like nothing.
This one's David Geibus.
Yeah, David Geipos. Yours is right there. So behind this part right here.
John's in here.
Oh, John Richardson's,
John
yeah.
Richardson.
Less Music.
Less Music.
And Ken Rosinski's.
And Ken's is...
Yeah.
Is that... Oh, no. Ken's is here.
Oh, okay.
And,
Sorry.
The other one is from Minnesota.
Okay.
SNR or R&H or whoever they are.
Yeah, SRF Consulting.
SRF.
Yeah.
So as soon as we kick those out, there are 11 more ready to go together.
So, yeah. Ah, man. And tonight, just as a vote of confidence, we are printing again with tea glaze, but we're printing the actual vase that we printed yesterday, again with tea glaze. So, yeah. And now, there we go.
So we try to do one little thing different every week, just kind of either proving a point or testing a theory. And a lot of times, actually most of the time, we do it like at the last second. So Hutch had this in the back seat of his car. He drove it from Atlanta up here 35 miles. We carried it in, we stuck it there, we powered it up. It did not work because I had the EMO button pushed in. As soon as I remembered that,
Yeah.
because I've been printing on the other ones, as soon as I undid the EMO, it worked perfect. And we didn't tram anything, we didn't do anything,
Nope.
we just zeroed the head and started printing. So we'll see how it turns out. It's kind of an experiment in robustness, you might say.
Yep.
And there, yeah, I mean, someone's going to say, why aren't you doing something different? Well, we all know that the vase is a cheat when it comes to starting and stopping, and I'm still snorkeling away on that. This has been like a 48-hour or 72-hour marathon for me and Murphy. Murphy's got one heck of a black eye now. I got a couple of good connections in today, but he got his share of licks in too. I got some scars I can't show you guys, but anyway. Greg, if you're there, I'm going to tell everybody what happened to me, so you'll be the only one to appreciate it. But I found a design flaw in the library that sets up the 72 megahertz clock.
Oh, yeah.
It cost me a little time, but I'm glad to report that we suffered through it anyway. So I don't know how that'll turn out, but we just thought since we'd like to talk to everybody because we have so much fun doing it that we'll print something while we're doing it. And tea glaze, we've never seen a vase out of tea glaze. I know I've seen some online. I've been seeing some beautiful prints, but we've never actually tried to make one. Another note while we're talking about materials is we have ordered in the last few days from 4 more vendors. We're trying to vet them out. Obviously, we're going to have to send material. And we have a ton of material here. The problem is this is the kind of material you give to somebody you don't like, not someone you do like. Yeah. We have some material that is good printing material, but about half of what we received so far, about 30 kilograms, is definitely donation quality. It's not something we want to send with the printers. No. So we're vetting out 4 more sources. All the sources we're vetting out are domestic. We're not buying sufficient quantities to merit going to China. Obviously, this all comes from China. They say made in the USA, but they're winking at you the whole time.
With the exception of like Talman and...
Yeah, well,
yeah, but... Yeah.
I'm not so sure Talman's actually made here. It's distributed here. I'd be surprised if it's actually made here.
It might be made here. Although
it'd be great.
I'll have to do a research. But
which reminds me, I saw a Kickstarter this week by a couple of guys, and I'm going to take my hat off to them. That's why the glare's up there. They are, I think, pushing forward with some new material.
Yes.
One of them is got carbon fiber in it, which I think is great. I'd love to see a little bit longer fibers in it possibly, but I'm sure that will evolve. And there are some other hybrids like the ABS, nylon.
There's a higher temperature PLA, and they also are doing a polycarbonate ABS.
Yeah.
And that's Protopasta on Kickstarter.
Yeah. So check them out. I think those guys are worth looking at, and maybe I think we're going to donate some money in that direction.
Yeah. And thank you very much to Eagle and Jay. He's the one who pushed us to letting us know exactly that they were on Kickstarter at the time. So thank you, Eagle and Jay. So,
I mean, when you see something like that, you want to encourage them because it's for being 25 years in this industry, we're pitifully far in the material science side of it. So I think that's great. And I actually like their approach. They were fairly technical about it and everything.
It's looking good. Yep.
So, well, it doesn't really matter as long as it doesn't catch fire tonight.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
So, where are the comments? Oh, they're over here?
Yeah. I can bring them over. Here you go. Let me go ahead and pop this guy out. I'm getting better at being able to use this particular part. So, there you go. Sorry. So a lot of little technical details, guys, so sorry about that. There it goes. Okay.
That's cool.
Alright. So, we're right here with June Lee is the next person up to ask questions. This is right here. How's the filter doing? Do you guys smell it in the room, or does the filter keep the fumes entirely consumed within the system?
Not entirely, but it makes a huge difference. Well, actually, we're printing with tea glaze, so I don't think there's much effluent from that.
Yeah.
I do want to point one thing out. Hutch has been printing an awful lot the last few weeks, and he's been a lot of times going, I'm going to print on my desk. But he's been sick the last few days, and I haven't felt all that good myself. I believe it's because we have ABS fumes. I mean, we have to be more careful. We had set up
Let me just say this. It was off the engine. It was not on the systems.
Right.
It was not on the systems.
Right.
Okay.
So just be wary. All you guys that are getting engines, the guys that are getting a system going, I don't need a filter. I mean, maybe you're superhuman. But for us, if you print in a closed environment, and we're in a fairly closed environment, then be aware that if you're finding your eyes are a little bit irritated and you've got some congestion, that's from the ABS. It's not from your joy and tears coming out from actually having your printer to work with. So, be cognizant of that.
Yeah, and here again, one thing I have to stress is that, because I got this question a lot at the Maker Faire. People wanting to use Weed Whacker line. Do not use Weed Whacker line. It's very low grade nylon, and it will outgas hydrogen cyanide, HCN. Don't use that stuff. Okay.
I didn't tell you I found a source for polypro.
Really?
And a bunch of other materials.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's 3 millimeter. No one's making 1.75, so I guess the 3 millimeter heads will become a higher priority here pretty quick.
Okay.
One of our goals is to print polypropylene because of its mechanical properties and its chemical properties. I've welded. Welding with polypropylene is a de facto art for the last 40, 50 years, so it's the same principles. It's going to be very interesting to see how it works out as an extrusion material, but in theory it should be a quite good material. And anybody who's gone skiing knows what polypropylene is, because that's what they make the rope out of for your ski ropes. It's very strong. So anyway, the PVDF's another story. That one, actually, I have a source for too now.
Yeah.
So
I will say this: when I've been printing this entire week, guys, I also, with the engine, because it wasn't enclosed, I also had one of these filters that you see up here. I had it on. It was on running the entire time, and it did help, but it did not take care of all the fumes. So some of the fumes, when they got up more toward the ceiling and then went off to the second floor, you could smell it. But other than that, in the area that I was at, it kept it all, to somewhat of a minimum. But I still was getting a little bit affected by it. So, wow, that's looking really good.
I don't know. Let's ship it to Greg before we get done here.
Okay.
Greg, if you want to fly out and help us put it in the box, you're more than welcome to do that. But it shall go.
Yes. And Eagle 1J, make ABS juice with it. He was talking about the crap material. I guess that's not a bad idea.
I don't know.
But
you know what? I'm not going to risk it because I don't know what's in it.
Yeah.
Hairspray is under such good quality control because it's controlled by the FDA, actually, as a cosmetic. And so we know what's in it. And
I would say
we got a half price. No, we got a 2x price special. We're going to charge you 200% for the crap because we know you're going to call us and complain. We got to get some blood money out of it. But
sounds horrible. Let's see. Eagle 1J, is this the new one I sent to Hutch? Yeah, that was the Protopasta stuff. Power to USA asks, are the fuses on the yoke user serviceable? Good question.
They don't pop in and out. They're surface mount.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you're thinking. Let me revisit that for a second.
Okay.
You know, this design's evolved. And one of the things is I've never blown a fuse, but several individuals Greg and Tim down in Australia, have both managed to plug in backwards or off the head. So that's the reason why we came up with the head guard.
Mm-hmm.
You still printing?
It has stopped, actually.
It could be that the flow rate needs to go up. I noticed that on the bottom.
Flow rate's not enough.
Not sticking?
No, we underflowed it.
Well, it's because it's the T-glass.
Yeah.
Want to start again?
Yeah, let's start it again, guys. So, you're seeing this all live. Hold on 1 second.
Kill that sucker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sticks.
Yeah, it does.
It really sticks.
Sorry.
Anyway, so that's why there's a cover, and it keeps you from plugging in the wrong way, so you can't short it, blow the fuse.
Mm-hmm.
And the other night when I was working with a training session with Powers USA, we had a blown fuse.
Yep.
I think it was Powers USA.
Yep.
Okay, so we just printed a candy dish, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be the temperature too.
Hmm.
We're still at 231, 69.
Okay.
So let me see if I can get this.
Yeah, Powers USA says, hence my question about the fuses. So,
yeah. They're not too tough to get to. You do solder them in and out, but they're very accessible up on top. A couple of screws, and you can get right into them. They're covered, so they're not available for your screwdriver to short to.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just 3 amp fuses. So every head is limited to 3 amps, 36 watts, and that'll tell you how it's set up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the part that he's talking about, guys, is that part right up here. So we had a small short on that,
grab a mouse here,
and the fuse did what it was supposed to do before actually traveling down the rest of the electronics back here. That's in the spine in this area, and shorting anything else out. So, but it is SMT, so our surface mount technology that we're using for the actual.
It's easy to return. Here, you can go grab a yoke and show it to them. I'll get it. So
okay. That's fine. That's fine. Let's see. Next question comes from hypertetrahedron says technically ABS will outgas HCN if it catches fire. Yes. And that's not good, guys. June Lee says time to put tape on any openings and gaps, keep it sealed when printing. He's laughing at that. Yes, you guys can definitely do that if you want to your system. We're not encouraging you to do that or not to do that. That is your if you want to make this a sealed environment, you're more than welcome to do so. But we are not saying to do it or not to do it. Because of, and you guys probably already know, because of the whole patent issue. And we're very, very aware of that, and we do not want to infringe upon their patents. So, in other words, we're doing it right. So, next trade show, I wanted to actually, while Carl's working on this, I wanted to address this. One of our suppliers has invited us as a potential possibility of being over at the South Tech Show, which is going to be happening October the 29th, 30th, and 31st in Greenville, South Carolina. I will be there. We will not have a system there. So one of these big guys is not going to be able to fit inside their booth. But one of the engines will be, and I will be printing with that throughout the entire time if they have us there. And I say if that at this particular point in time because he has yet to get back in touch with me. He is halfway around the world and is not in a position where he can actually get in touch with me. Yeah. So, as Carl says, I think he's on a plane, and I believe, Carl's absolutely correct. So, because he's on his way back. So, if you're in the Greenville, South Carolina area, I think it might be a free show, might not be, but we will be there with an engine, and I'll be printing with some ABS, I believe. maybe some other things too. So the next show that we have beyond that, we've been looking around. We've been looking at the Miami Mini Maker Faire. Can't confirm any of that particular details as to which show we're going to be going to next, but that's the next one that's closest to us. We have a printer to deliver down in Florida, in Yeoman, and we're thinking possibly going down there if there's a different show, not just the Mini Maker Faire, if there's also another one that's in that particular area, specifically Tampa, Florida. But we'll know that. We'll know much better probably in the next couple of weeks when it comes to the actual trade show schedule. So, also, oh yes, a question that we have been getting a lot about the Skype sessions, the training sessions, and a thing about why we're doing this. We're holding these Skype sessions and team viewer sessions as well, so that you guys can actually 3D print with your machine and have control over your machine. We want to make sure that the very first print you do is with us, and it gets you over the hump. To do that kind of print does take quite a bit of time, effort, and energy when it comes to doing your very first time, because we were babes in the woods when we bought the 3D printers and tried to print on them, and there wasn't very good documentation out there on how to do that. So we want to walk you through all the setup, the tramming, the setting the Z height, and this is just the basic stuff that every 3D printer, any 3D printer you get out there, you're going to have to do. And because these machines, I mean, they're additive manufacturing machines. CNCs, mills, lathes, they're all subtractive manufacturing machines. So there's a little bit of machining or machinist knowledge that you're going to need to have to be armed with to be able to take on these machines and get them to work perfectly. So, and we'd rather have you guys armed with that information and armed with that knowledge, so when it gets to you guys, you're just like, not a problem, we can do this, I've done this before, I did this on the machine when I was over in their shop. And if there's anything else that shakes out, just like what happened with Powers USA, we'll be able to take care of it on our end before it gets to you.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it.
And that is, yes, that is the biggest point. It's also a question of our quality control to make sure that what we get you guys is going to work, it's going to run, and it's going to do exactly what it's supposed to do as well. But we'd really love to have you guys be familiar with your machine before it gets to you, so you can have nothing but 3D printing success, be very, very happy with what you've done, with what you've pledged. So, and yeah, we can call us anytime and for any other kind of help when it comes to if there's something wrong with your machine or there's something you don't understand about your machine, pick up the phone, give us a call, schedule a time in us to do a Skype session with us. And the whole thing about doing a team session when it comes to these types of things, I want to say the team sessions we're looking at doing probably about at maximum 10 to 15 people in an actual team session. And I'll be posting that stuff up on our website and a bunch of other places when we get to that particular part. I'm still testing it out, making sure that it works first, and then move forward. Yes.
So what's the number one problem when you have a trouble with material feed?
Oh no, you got to be kidding me. Did the material kink?
There's a knot in the material.
Okay, guys. So, material you see right here.
I think there is.
If there's a knot anywhere, like basically like a clove hitch or anything like that, that's inside of your material, it's gonna stop printing. So,
what can we pull so hard?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Did you? Oh.
It's an SOB, isn't it?
Just slightly embarrassing, guys. That's okay.
Hey. I hope Davo isn't watching. He's going to be merciless tomorrow.
Yeah. At least it wasn't something too terribly major.
Just got to put the key in the ignition.
Yeah. Well, it happens, guys. Sorry about that. Powers USA asks, can we install the HYREL software on our desktops and have it run without a printer attached to that desktop? It's a good question. I don't see why not. Of course, then again, I'd have to ask Carl about that to see if...
What's he trying to do? Is he trying to run the emulator?
I think he's trying to run the emulator, yeah.
Well, ask him.
Are you trying to run the emulator? Because if you are, you just got to download Repeteer Host and play with it. Repetrail does not support the emulator, and for good reason, which I'll explain in a minute.
Okay. All right. Powers USA says no. No, he is not trying to run the emulator.
Well, then, yeah, of course you can put it on a PC.
Yeah. Okay. James C. Ballin says, asks, have you printed an object with support material yet?
No.
Great question. No, we have not. Not yet. And the reason why is because we've been working on the firmware and the software, specifically bugs that were actually, well, let's just say this, that they were, as Pro E Guy found, they were killing our prints in the middle of the print for no apparent reason. And so we had to dive in and figure out what was going wrong with that. Just a single head.
Solved.
So as Carl has just said, he's got the problem solved, and now we can move on to doing the multi-material prints. We've done multi-material, where we had one print which did one color, and then we did one that was on top of the next one. So it was a yellow and green print that we did. Unfortunately, I don't have it here in front of me, and because there was a 4-year-old kid who was over at the show who gave me the doughy eyes and wanted that particular print, so I said,
You sucker.
okay. So, but just to prove the point, you know what? I see another piece that we actually did. So, James E. Ballin, give me just one moment. I'm going to go grab that print so I can show it to you. I think we may have shown it on one of the older broadcasts, right around number 40. But unfortunately, because of what Justin.tv did, all the videos that we had there, they're gone. There's a reason why I don't like Thieves. But we do have a lot of the videos. It's just that I can't upload the videos because they're in a different format. I can't upload them to YouTube, and I cannot upload them back to Justin.tv. So it's not, didn't know that, but now I know that. So one moment. Okay. So just to prove that I know that we can do 2 different multicolor prints, which also means that we can also do support material and do a support